My name is Jeff Doherty, Dean of Emerson House, and I will be co-hosting today our Lions Pride program, where we will be talking with and honoring our May Chelmsford High School Students of the Month. Last Saturday, all of our students here today graduated from the high school, so they're all heading off to college and future careers, and we're extremely proud of them. All with me today is the Assistant Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Linda Hirsch, and representing the Rotary, Mr. Leonard Doolin. Our first student is from Emerson House, the May Girls Student of the Month, Abigail DeRoges. Abigail has been very involved in school, especially with the yearbook, where she was editor of the sports department this year, and with softball, where she was captain of our highly successful softball team. Abby's also been a class rep and part of Live Smart and our freshman mentor orientation program. She is the daughter of Michelle and Ron DeRoges, and next year she's going to attend Merrimack College, where she will study sports medicine, minor in psychology, and she plans to continue her fabulous softball career playing for the Warriors.
Abby, we're very happy to have you here, and glad that you could make it, even though you're now a graduate of Chelmsford High School. So thank you for taking the time to come and participate in this program. And congratulations on being an alumni.
Thank you, and thanks
An
for
alumna,
having me.
I should say. Abby, you came to visit us at the Chelmsford Rotary Club luncheon last Monday.
Mm-hmm.
We heard a little bit about you and all of you, and so I'll be sharing some of the thoughts that we were talking about at that time. But Abby, you've had a very highly successful softball career.
Thank you.
You've been playing softball for Chelmsford High for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
You've won all sorts of awards. You're the captain, and you're capping it off, getting a scholarship to go to Merrimack College.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that.
Tell us about your career as football as a softball player.
I can't believe it's already over. These 4 years flew by. It was just a whole lot of fun. I was honored to be captain this year to a great group of girls. We had really good chemistry this year, and I just had so much fun. It was a great way to end my 4 years playing softball.
What sort of career did you have at high school this year?
Career? What do you mean?
In terms of the record.
15-5 we ended with, and we tied with 2 other teams to be MVC champs, and we made it into states. So I'd say it was pretty good.
So you had a pretty successful run.
Yeah.
So you obviously, as captain, did a good job.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Tell me now, you're looking forward to playing softball in college.
Yeah, I
How
am.
do you think that's going to be? You had any inclination as to what it might be like?
When I did my overnight with the team, they were all really nice, and I got to play with them, and it seemed very competitive, and I'm just really excited to get started. I'm ready.
So, obviously, you're not going to be playing softball as soon as you get there. What do you expect to be doing? You going to be involved in any other sports?
Maybe intramurals, but I mean not varsity. But I just want to get right into making new friends, and I don't know, just
Getting all those academics taken care of.
Yeah, that too.
Yes.
That too.
So, I guess that's what they'd like to hear you say.
Yeah.
At any rate, tell me, you've been involved in a number of activities outside of really the classroom academic material. What are some of those, and tell me how that's influenced you?
I just like being involved, so I have something to keep me busy. But yearbook, like Dean Doherty said, that was a big part of high school the past 2 years. And being able to be sports editor, that was a big job, but it was so worth it when I got to hold the yearbook the other day for the first time in person. I'm also in Lyme, which organizes the 24-hour relay, and that was fun. Class reps. I mean, he said all this stuff, but yeah, I just like staying busy.
And tell me, these activities are something that the school encourages you to be out in the community and helping. But it's also an educational experience. I think they're not just sending you out there to do these
Right.
things just because it'll be fun, which it may be. But tell us what you get out of all of the outside activities that you are involved in.
I've learned a lot of things, like being in those, being captain and sports editor. I've learned leadership and tough questions.
Well, Well, from the standpoint of your education in terms of what you're exposed to that the normal student would not be, you find that some of those experiences have been of some value for you?
Yeah, and in all the different clubs, you get to meet different people, so you learn different things.
Now, one of the things I noticed in terms of your citation that I thought was interesting is that you've spent quite a bit of time concentrating on Huntington disease activities. Now, what's the interest that you have there that you find?
Yeah, so it runs in my family. My uncle had it, and my cousin did, and she actually just passed away like a month ago. But I really like being involved in that to be a part of her life. And so I do so many fundraisers with my family and participate and volunteer in them, from walkathons, hoopathons. But yeah, I plan to do that for the rest of my life.
Well, we're all sorry for your loss, obviously, but having some sort of an interest that is personal really gets you involved in things, doesn't it?
Right, yeah.
And I think the same thing is true in all of the activities that you work on. Those that you have a passion for, you're going to do a whole lot better. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Now, one of the things we're involved with in school is with sports is athletic trainer.
Yeah,
That's a little different.
yeah. I like trying new things, so when I didn't have a sport to play this fall of senior year, I decided that I would try that. So I got involved in that, and I think that's one of the reasons why I have an intended major at Merrimack of sports medicine. So I'm glad I got to do that.
Well, I was going to follow up with that question because I see that you are going to be
Yeah.
working in sports medicine, or that's your as a career situation as well as academics. You think you've gotten a start as a result of your experience here, or did you have an interest before?
I've always been interested in sports ever since I was little, but that definitely, because I wasn't sure, I have a minor in psychology, is what I'm going to do, so I wasn't sure if I should do that full time, but so I think that really made me decide that I wanted to do it as a major.
Well, let me just cover one last point with you, is that's relative to the yearbook. We've had several students who have been active in the yearbook. I say, you'll be amazed as you get older how many times you will look at that high school yearbook, and your work will be rewarded.
Cool.
Now, tell me some of the challenges that you had in trying to get that together, though.
Oh, there was a lot. We would stay up till, I remember when it was due, everybody stayed up until 1 a.m. at the school. Challenges.
How about deadlines?
Yeah,
Getting
that was
people to
huge.
adhere to them?
Yeah.
That's probably the most difficult part, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
So, well, very good. Well, Abby, we're very happy to have you here, and thank you very much for coming back to see us. And we really enjoy
Thank you so
meeting you,
much.
and hope that you enjoy the rest of your summer, and we'll have a terrific career ahead of you.
Thank you so
and
much.
we know that.
Thanks.
Good job, Abby.
Thanks.
Okay, our next student of the month is not going to be here, and that is Charlotte Cowell. But we want to give her recognition, so that Ms. Hirsch, will you read her citation?
Absolutely. So Ms. Cole was actually at her orientation for school, and I have the pleasure to read a little bit about her and give you some information. So she's the daughter of Ben Cole and Catherine Lehan. She took a variety of different classes at her senior year, which looks like it's setting her up beautifully for her college, her first year of college. So she was in AP Psychology, Honors International Relations, the Holocaust class, Sociology, Pre-Calc, Common Law and Trial Procedures, and Contemporary Literature, which she was on the honor roll for 4 years, all 4 years. Part of her activities at CHS included yearbook staff, mock trial team. She was a freshman mentor. She also was on the winter track and JV soccer teams. Outside of school, she volunteered with her church group, the Lowell Wish Foundation, the 24-Hour Relay Challenge, and the Lowell Soup Kitchen. She's pretty busy. She had a successful fight with cancer, which never deterred her from being productive, empathetic, and a successful individual. So she plans on attending Suffolk University, focusing on psychology and criminal justice this year.
One of the things that she mentioned when she came to our luncheon on Monday is the fact that she had some challenges, obviously, medically, and was away from school a lot. She gave a huge amount of credit to the teaching staff who came to her home, who did a lot of work with her. And I think as somebody who's out there who's looking at what's going on in the school system, I think it's great to know that we've got teachers that will go that extra mile for the kids.
It's a great system.
So that was particularly good. Now, we have another student who unfortunately is working today, now that he's out of school, and that's Amkar Bhatt. Can you read his citation?
Sure, it'd be my pleasure. Amkar, the Hawthorne Boy Student in the Month, has taken many challenging advanced placement courses, including in calculus, physics, English literature, and composition. He's also been part of the Common Law and Trial Procedures class, which is part of our highly successful mock trial team. He's a member of the National Honor Society and an advanced scholar with distinction. He has belonged to and volunteered for our Key Club, been a member of the mock trial DECA, where he was first place at the state competition and second at the districts. He was also top 20 at the national competition that they had this year in Atlanta, Georgia. He also has participated in our science team, which has come in second place, and then sixth place in the state competition. He's been a research assistant at Northeastern University, tutor for grades 8 through 12, worked as a testive ambassador, reviewing and developing SAT questions. And he's interned with YPro Limited as a page at the Chelmsford Public Library. He's the son of Dahada and Saraya Bhatt, and he plans to major in computer science and finance this coming fall at Northeastern University.
Well, although he started to work today, I guess, and was unable to make it, he was at our luncheon. And one of the things that was rather interesting to hear him talk about was the fact that he was very active in the science club. And they had a lot of competitive things that they were doing. And in his first year, it turned out that they did not do very well. They were at not necessarily the bottom, but pretty close to it. And it's interesting, they came back and had a little bit of a post-mortem of what was not running well for them. And they worked on it and used that as the basis for overcoming some of the problems. And at the end of their career together, and he was in it for several years, they had reached the point where they were at the top level in the science competitions that we have with various other schools. And I think he was not really taking credit for it, but I think he added a lot to that particular program to make it a success. So the idea of fighting your way to the top is an important lesson that he learned. So our next student of the month is Merdula Gadgil. You read her?
Yep, I have the pleasure of reading to you and giving you some information about Merdula Gadgil, former student of mine. She's the daughter of Tripti and Mahesh Gadgil. This year, some of her courses included AP Spanish, English, physics, biology, and calculus. She was also part of orchestra, high honors, common law, and trial procedures. She was on the High Honor Roll, the National Honor Society, the National Merit Scholar. She's part of the Speech and Debate Club. 4-year participation as the treasurer and finalist in many area competitions. Medula is also an accomplished violinist in the orchestra, and she earned entrance into the MICCA Gold and Silver Medal Orchestra. She's trained in classical Indian dance, which I have seen her do. It's excellent. She has Taekwondo black belt and a volunteer at the Chelmsford Public Library. She will be attending Brandeis University this year, and she will be majoring in biology and neuroscience.
Marilla, it's good to have you here as well, and we're happy that you could make it, although you're now out of high school.
Yeah.
So at any rate, one of the things that your citation lists a lot is the wide range of speaking and oratorial events that you have been involved in for a long period of time, and have been very successful
Thank you.
in doing. Tell us a little bit about those, because that was very interesting to hear.
Okay, so when I first joined the speech and debate team as a freshman, I actually started off doing Lincoln Douglas debate, and this is a one-on-one, very philosophy-based type of debate. And I did that for half of my freshman year until I realized that I actually liked the speaking portion of debate more than the research part. So I decided to give speech events a try. And there's a whole range of speech and events. And I first started in original oratory, which I talked about at the luncheon, which is basically where you write an original speech and then you perform it in front of judges. And it has to be about 10 minutes long and completely memorized. So that was one of the events I tried. I've also tried impromptu speaking, where they give you a topic on the spot, and then basically you have 6 minutes to come up with a little something to say about it and perform it to a judge. So those are probably my 2 favorite events.
But there were others as well.
Yes, there were.
Tell us about some of those.
Okay, so another event I've tried is duo interpretation, which is where you have a pair, so you and your partner, and you find either a movie script, play, short story, anything you want, and make a script out of it for yourselves, and then you basically act it out and perform it to judges. And there are rules involved, like you can't touch each other, so no physical contact, you can't look each other straight in the eye. And so following those guidelines, you have to somehow give a convincing performance of the piece you've chosen.
Well, now, all of those things were involved with school, but some of them were outside of school because you competed in some events that were with other groups.
Yes.
What were
Well,
some of those?
Basically, you have to perform with students from your own school, but you're competing against a lot of different other schools. And so we were always competing against schools that had really big speech and debate teams, which was intimidating at first, like Newton South, Milton Academy. But I think that in the 4 years, our team has grown a lot. We've gone from, I think, 8 or 9 members to maybe 30. So.
Okay, so this must have been a really interesting learning experience for you to have all of these opportunities to be involved, but to express yourself. You think that's going to be of some advantage in going to Brandeis or any other place you go?
Yeah, I think so.
Life?
I'm actually planning on joining the debate team at Brandeis.
Uh-huh.
They're really big on debate there, so I think speech and debate has prepared me well for the college I'm going to.
Okay. Now, to get into another subject, you're also a musician.
Yeah,
You play the violin.
I do.
You're in the orchestra. And you've also played outside because you've been in some competitions or something, or where you won some awards.
I did.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I've been playing violin since the 4th grade when I joined the strings class, and since then I've been in the orchestra all of my years of school, and I auditioned for junior districts in my freshman year, and I've taken some private lessons.
Well, are you going to continue that as well?
Yes, I would like to.
Very good. Now, one of the other things that was mentioned in your citation is the classical Indian dance that you have been involved in. Now, that's a little bit different activity, but Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I've been training in Bharatanatyam, Indian dance, since the 4th grade as well. And I actually started because my mom wanted me to be a dancer. So I didn't really know what I was getting into, but it's really become one of the most important things that I do. And this summer, I'm actually having my final dance recital. So these dance recitals are events that mark your graduation from preliminary dancing, and it also marks that you can now teach other people.
Well, another interesting aspect of your life is your involvement with Taekwondo.
Yeah.
Now, that may seem a little inconsistent as we look at you here. Now, how do you like that, and how do you perform that with that?
Yeah, so
You're a black belt, which means you've had to come through the ranks and accomplish a lot, right?
yes. I trained for a few years at Master Ann's Taekwondo in Lowell. I actually don't do Taekwondo anymore, but from, I think, 1st grade to about 7th, I did Taekwondo. Yeah.
Is that a confidence building thing as well as
Yeah, it's definitely
exercise and
different
everything?
from all the other activities I've done, so it was.
And you've really enjoyed. You had a broad range of things.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to have you here, and we can understand why you are a student of the month, because
you very
you've
much.
accomplished a lot, and we'd like to present this plaque to you in recognition of that fact.
Great, thank you.
So thank you very much. Good job. Our next student of the month is Alexander Early.
So I, again, have the pleasure of introducing another student, Alexander, and he is the son of Roy and Diane Early. This year at CHS, he took the AP Calculus class, AP Art, AP Computer Science AB, Literature and Film, Psychology, Physics, Architectural Design, and Drawing. Alexander is a National Honor Society member. He works as a library page at the Chelmsford Public Library. He also is a designated open space steward in Chelmsford, and he has engineered many outdoor construction projects. He is part of the art club. He was also the vice president and the president, hopefully not at the same time. In 2014, he received an art department award. Also, again, in 2012 and 2013, he's also received awards in computer graphics. He is a Bible Fest assistant teacher and assistant director of skits and church choir and handbell choir. He's part of the handbell choir, which is really nice. He will attend Rochester University of Technology in the fall, majoring in game and development. Sounds interesting. Welcome.
Thank you.
Alex, you really made an impression, at least on one of your teachers in the math and computer area, when in your citation it indicates that he categorizes you as a youth prodigy. Now, you think that's that had to be something that impressed him a lot, so you must be doing very well in that particular area. How did you get into that at such an early age?
Well, I don't know. I guess in later middle school I found that I was good at math, and then I know last year in my junior year with programming I took a class and I found that I was also very good with that, and I enjoyed the programming too. So.
Well, so much so that you're planning to continue that.
Yes.
Now, but you're going to concentrate at RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology, in game development.
Yeah.
Now, what is the specific interest there? And it has other applications as well,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Because I mean, it's an interesting mix of the programming and the math and the logic with artistic elements, which I'm a very artistic person and I like art, so it's nice to have the marriage between the two, because it creates interesting products and interesting results.
Now, what are some of the things that you're doing now in program? Do you play games and things of that sort fairly intently?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Okay. So that's something that you've started doing and you know you're well at, you're good at, and you're going to continue
Yeah,
in life in that direction.
It's something I enjoy. It's something I find interesting and enjoyable too.
Now, one of the other areas that you seem to have an interest is in the open space stewardship program in Chelmsford, which is really a very interesting program and gives you a lot of opportunities to get involved in
Yeah, because
things helping
they
community.
do a lot of volunteer work on public spaces. It's a very good program because we volunteer, we clean up, we restore, we help with upkeep of places that there's not really any money to hire people to help with the upkeep and the restoration. So I think it's a valuable asset for a community to have an organization like that.
It is, and it's one that you volunteer, and in the process you probably get some experiences that you otherwise wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the projects that you've worked on?
Well, I think the big one, the one that I started on, and the one that we still work on is the Cynthia Ann Moore's Nature Park, which is behind what used to be Westlands Elementary School.
Mm-hmm.
Because after the school closed, there wasn't really any money to work to help with the upkeep of that, and it was overgrown. And so this volunteer organization stepped up and offered to clean it up, to repair things, to cut down trees. And so for the past, I don't know how many years, we've been doing various things, cleanups, opening it up, making it more of a family-friendly place. We recently, there's a gazebo in the middle. There was a stairway that was falling apart, so we recently replaced that with a stone walkway. So I think that's one of the biggest things I do in that group.
Well, that's very interesting. I think I'm aware of the fact that the stewardship group has been very intently taking care of things like that. I had kind of a personal interest there because I knew Cynthia Ann Moore's. And at any rate, it's great that you can do something like making a contribution like that.
Yeah.
And it's not for pay, it's for what you're getting out of it in terms of enjoyment and learning. You're interested in several other areas because you've done a whole lot of things in terms of public service projects.
Yeah.
What are some of the others that have interested you?
Let's see. There was an interesting one where a family had just moved into a house, and the previous owners of the house had a gigantic garden with hundreds, thousands of plants. So I thought that was because they wanted the plants moved because it was huge and it wasn't what they wanted. But that was an interesting one, just because there was so much there. There was a hockey rink that I assisted in assembling a couple of years ago at this point. And so that was a nice thing because, it's it's an ice skating rink, it's a nice thing to set up.
Well, that's very good. Now, you're looking forward to going to Rochester. Have you been to an orientation program at all?
I
visited. Looking forward to that?
Yeah, I visited a couple times. I'm going, and I assume the actual orientation will be when I get there in August.
Well, that's a great school.
Yeah.
I'm somewhat familiar with it because I've been in the printing industry, and that's they're one of their fortes, really.
Yeah.
But Alexander, let me congratulate you on being Student of the Month for your college, for your house, and present you with this plaque that we give to everybody to congratulate them, and so you get something to go home with. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Excellent. Well, we've had a good group of students. Unfortunately, several didn't show up today, which is understandable because they're free at lab.